What's happening over there with that?
It's good, man. It's good. It's like a crash course in reality. You get out of your fantasies, and you get into reality. And I notice it like very slowly starting to rewire my brain. So, like without this, I just look at any attractive woman,
Right.
in like a predatory fashion. It's like, oh, it's like she's raw meat and I'm a tiger who hasn't eaten in 18 months. Like that's, how I kind of go around life, and I just kind of obsess over anything remotely sexual. And then by working the 12 steps and going to meetings for sex addiction, I learned that like how destructive that is to people, because people come in there and like some of them are destructive because they beat their girlfriends, and others of them are compulsive and they like flash people, and I just see how this addiction, this compulsion just ruins lives. And so I can't go in there and then come out, thinking the same way. It's like, oh, let me keep looking at it in a predatory way at every attractive female, because after going to that meeting and just hearing how these obsessions just ruin lives, and how I'm like we sexualize our anxiety, and like we try to deal with the hole. Those of us who are sex addicts try to deal with the hole in our soul by, it's like, oh, if I can just get some sex, then I'll feel better, and this underlying emptiness that will go away. And so we have this obsessional thinking, then we have these rituals around getting the sex, then we have the sex itself, and if it's accomplished in a way that's undignified, that violates your values, that harms people, then afterwards you have this huge crash, this letdown. And so to get away from this obsessional thinking, this ritualization, this sexualizing of anxiety and fear and shame, and it's like, oh, it's too shameful, I could never tell anyone about what I'm really all about. So the more people live in shame, the more isolated they become. It's like, because people would reject me if they know what I'm really like. And so now you can go into a room where people accept you, where you can feel free to reveal, what's going on for you in a way that you can't do 99.9% of other social circumstances. And people don't judge you and beat up on you for it, and they support you to get healthy. So I think it's terrific.
Well, that was a nice 5-minute piece. When you were really talking about it, and you were saying, like, this is what we think about, and we're addicted to it. I still say I could say the same thing about me. I could say the same thing probably about every male. That's what we are. God creates males that we think about sex. I think every 7 seconds or something. This is what we do. That's the way God created us. It's like, He gave us a penis, and He says there's do's and don'ts. Get it circumcised. Don't tweet photos of it, right? I mean, these are the do's and don'ts of the penis, right? And he's one of the things that's going to happen is you're going to have a desire to bang a lot of chicks that walk by, and you go, oh, I'm addicted to sex because I want to bang all these chicks who's walking down the street. Well, no, you're not. It just means you're a male. A male.
You're addicted to sex if you obsess over, if I bang these women, this will cure the hole in my soul. This will bring me solace. This will, make me feel good, and will, take away this inner emptiness and self-loathing that I have. So other people fill that hole with alcohol. Also, you're likely an addict if you're going around exposing yourself. Like if you're doing things that are self-destructive.
You think Anthony Weiner is addicted to sex?
I think he might have some problems in that direction. So like if you're like constantly banging your secretaries at work, setting yourself up for, for getting fired, for a lawsuit, for possible criminal prosecution, and for losing your marriage, your family, your kids, and your place in the community, then you're acting in ways that are really self-destructive. So if you're if you're spending 4 hours a night masturbating to internet pornography, you're acting in ways that are destructive.
Hey, who are you to judge me?
if you, like whenever you get anxious, you have to run off and masturbate like 4 times a day, and you're not 15, but you're 35, then you likely have a problem. So if you're acting out in ways that are self-destructive, then you should get help. And let alone if you're acting out like some of these guys, they like to beat up women.
No, that's not acceptable. You mentioned something there that it's legit. You talked about some people like to feel like it fills that void or whatever you want to say. They'll feel like, oh, they're going to solve all my problems if I just bang this other person.
Yeah.
I may be wrong here. I'm going to go on a tangent, but I've heard that I think more often from women than I have from men.
I definitely feel it, like particularly when my life's not going well and I'm not feeling strong enough. Like when I had my health, then I could just, like when I had these anxieties, I could go out and run 5 miles. And I'd come home and I was so tired and exhausted, these anxieties had no hold over me. I could accomplish anything when I had my health. I could like study for 6 hours, I could get straight A's, I could work 14-hour days, I could make a lot of money. And so these anxieties didn't bother me. But now when I have these anxieties and I'm like feeling empty and like I'm struggling with so many areas of my life, I want some solace. I want some kindness and something that feels good and makes the pain go away. All these frustrations and poverty and ill health and rejection and ostracism and failure after failure. And so I remember like in 2009, I was having all these problems, and I had a girlfriend who was like above me in social status, who was very attractive, who I was afraid would leave me any moment, and what kind of held us together was the sex. So I would take like Levitra to make sure that I could really do it good, and I'd take like testosterone to make sure I could really do it good. And I thought, if I could just keep
33 minutes.
If I could just
33 minutes we went before he had to tell us about one of his sex exploits. Keep going, lady. 33 minutes.
I thought if I could just keep looking her really good, I could keep her in my life. I could prove that I was a man. Because all the other ways of proving that you're a man, such as like earning money and just being a strong, dominant male who can like protect her and take care of her, I couldn't do any of the other things that we traditionally connect with a man. So I thought, okay, I can bang the bejesus out of her if I just take my Levitra. And of course, she was just like getting really sore.
Hey, wait a minute. This must have been recent because Levitra's new.
It was 2009.
Oh, this was like 2 years ago.
Yeah. So I was like banging the bejesus out of her, and she's like, this is hurting me. Stop taking that Levitra. But I was like so insecure, I had to like prove my masculinity.
Why would you even take the Levitra? That's like crazy.
Because this will come as a shock to you. I wasn't always, and have not always been over the last 10 years, the firmest reed in the river.
Okay. I know, it sounded like you took it because you wanted to be able to have it up for 4 hours.
Yeah, I wanted to be able to like do it to her, for hours.
Okay. If you couldn't get it up, then hey, I apologize for.
Well, I could get it up, but it wouldn't always stay up.
That was insensitive. It sounded to me like you could get it up without it, but you took it anyways because you wanted to be on steroids while you're banging the fuck out of her,
Yeah, both. And she was just getting sore. And so she stopped that, once she figured out what was going on. But then I tricked her, I didn't tell her I was taking these testosterone supplements. So that,
you were on steroids.
I was really, highly sexed. Because that was the one way I had to feel like I was a man.
All right.
And so that was an example of inner emptiness and trying to seek solace through sex, and that's an example of behavior that could be problematic.
Okay, good. Can we move on?
Well, I do want to talk about my hatred of women, but we also got to talk about the money.
Well, we have a lot before we can get to that.
Go ahead. I'm just going to study the halachas of Nida.
Now you're going to be listening in.
Oh, yeah.
There's questions for both of us. I have some questions. Questions were sent to us from last show.
Okay, yeah. So Levitra versus Viagra versus Cialis. So I used the same Asian girlfriend, and I was able to plot. I plotted it all out very mathematically. Which one was the most effective with the same Asian girlfriend.
Did she make sucky sucky?
Chas v'shalom.
Did she get on the phone in the middle of sex and go, ching chong ding dong ting tong? Woo! That's funny stuff. All right, here we go.